new questions, approach a much wider range of topics, and draw on the expertise of scholars across the discipline, whereas traditional fashion reference books tend to be limited to an alphabetical survey of individual designers. This encyclopedia seeks to provide critical insight into the history and contemporary experience of clothing and fashion. By identifying the world preeminent authorities and by approaching the subject with a global focus and an interdisciplinary perspective, the editorial board of the Encyclopedia of Clothing and Fashion aimed to provide the interested reader with an authoritative introduction to the wide range of issues that defend the field. The issues include Eurocentrism versus multiculturalism, gender and sexual identity, the relationship between fashion and other cultural manifestations, such as music, theory of fashion, clothing and material culture, and the fashion system, encompassing the design, manufacture, marketing, and representation of fashion. The editors of the encyclopedia, whose expertise span a wide range of discipline, subject matter, and geographical areas, have enlisted over 3,025 authors in an international survey of clothing, fashion, and related subjects from prehistoric times to the present. The Encyclopedia of Clothing and Fashion contains 640 essays ranging from specific topics such as African textile and zoot suit to conceptual articles such as global, globalization and music and fashion. The latter cross-referenced to related entries such as hip-hop fashion. Naturally, we have tried to include all of the topics that reader would expect to find, including essays on specific fashion designers, Christian Dior, Coco Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, and dozens more. But these essays are neither hagiographies of great artists nor potted biographies of successful business people. Of the hundreds of possible candidates for inclusion, we have concentrated on those who made a lasting contribution to the art of fashion and to fashion culture. Each designer work is not only described in detail, but also analyzed with reference to its social and cultural context. Readers interested in, say, Dior, can also find related essays on topics such as the new look or Paris fashion. Of course, fashion is a part of most people's lives, not only because they wear clothes, but also because they constantly consume image of fashion. Encyclopedia address the subject of fashion across the media with essays on fashion photography and on individual photographers such as Richard Avedon, Guy Bourdain, and Helmut Newton. Caricature and fashion and film and fashion. The Encyclopedia also include unexpected topics such as cross-dressing, food buying, and supermodels. There is even an essay on the future of fashion because the production and marketing of textile, clothing, and accessories is an integral part of the fashion system. The encyclopedia includes a wide range of essays on such topics as techno textile, sweatshop, fashion magazine, and department store. Typically, fashion refers to the phenomenon as a regular pattern of change in the prevailing mode of dress. Third, for example, it could be said that miniskirt was in fashion during the 1960s. Most writers assume that there existed a vast difference between modern Western fashion and traditional non-Western costume. For detailed analysis of fashion and other closely related terms and a discussion of the important distinction among them, please refer to the individual essay on fashion and on clothing, costume, and dress. Traditionally, most publications on fashion have focused almost exclusively on couture or designer fashion worn by elite Western women during the past 200 years. The clothing, adornment, and bodily practice of men subculture group, working class people, and non-Western and/or pre-modern people tend to be regarded as existing outside of realm of fashion. Such topics were treated by scholars, if at all, as subfield and of sociology, anthropology, folk art, or decorative arts. This encyclopedia takes a very different approach. There are, for example, numerous entries on the clothing fashion of different historical periods and geographical areas. Fashion in this page is not treated solely as a phenomenon of the modern Western world. Full recognition is given to such fashion-oriented culture as Tang Dynasty China and Heian period Japan. See, for example, the entries on China, history of dress, Japanese traditional dress and adornment, and Japanese fashion. Survey essays in those fields are complemented by more specific topical entries, kimono, kipao, dress F, Phyllis Tortora's magisterial survey of Europe and America, history of dress, 400 to 1900 CE, set the stage for numerous topical entries for the world of Western dress, and as Parminder Pachu's essay on Salwar Kameez demonstrate the categories of Western and non-Western, like those of traditional and modern dress, are highly permeable. Similarly, disciplinary boundaries between history, sociology, anthropology, material culture, and other academic fields are transcended. In the new field of fashion studies, it has been our explicit aim in this encyclopedia to create a work that is historical, cross-cultural, and multicultural in abroad, and that will facilitate diachronic and comparative research. The editorial team spent considerable time and effort identifying significant topics and commissioning articles from scholars who were among the world's leading authorities in their field. Dorothy Cole, for example, is unquestionably the world's greatest expert on food binding. A respected scholar of Chinese women's history, Professor Cole takes an unexpected yet thoroughly documented view of this 1,000-year practice. Readers of her essays may want to explore further by reading her book, Every Step, a Lotus, 2001. Elizabeth Barber, author of our essays on prehistoric clothing, is famous as the author of women's work, The First 20,000 Years, 1994. Elizabeth Ann Coleman, whose 1982 exhibition, The Genius of Charlie James, at the Brooklyn Museum, was one of the first museum exhibitions to treat fashionable dress unambiguously as work of art, has contributed a deeply insightful survey of James' work for this encyclopedia. Her